It's been a wonderful day. We're very excited to have everyone here at the best weekend all year and this great moment as we recognize our leaders following cross country. In a moment, when we begin questions, as always, I'd ask that you please raise your hand and let Cheryl bring you the microphone, and if you would please silence your cell phones. I would like to introduce our head table of four very happy people. To my immediate right, the winner of the Land Rover Best Ride of the Day, Lauren Kiefer. And we'll elaborate a little bit more and come back to Lauren, but she's got a big smile on her face because she just won a 2-year lease on a brand new Land Rover Discovery Sport. Next to Lauren, currently in 4th place overall following cross country at Rolex, Kentucky, from the United States, Maya Black. At the far end, currently sitting in 2nd and 3rd, the Olympic veteran and the last U.S. rider to win Rolex Kentucky, Phillip Dutton. And next to Phil, I can't really say in the center, I suppose, but in a certain sense, the center seat, our leader, the reigning Olympic champion and defending champion in the Rolex Kentucky 3-day event presented by Land Rover from Germany, Michael Young. So Michael, when you were up here yesterday, you told us that you were not here on holiday, that you were here to win. And it certainly was quite apparent right from the start that you were attacking that course, that you were here to win. Did the thought ever enter your mind with the conditions or anything to go a little conservative, or just what we saw?
For me, it was a bit hard-working today, but I'm absolutely very happy about my mare, Fischerrocana. She was absolutely fighting and really concentrate and always trust me. That gives you as a rider a very, very good feeling. She galloping in the end. When I push her a little bit, she galloping so fast as she can. She try all the best. That's yeah, absolutely great feeling. The 4-star here in Kentucky is always very early in the season. You have not so much time to bring the horse to the best condition. Maybe we need 1 or 2 more 3-star that you have a very good feeling before. That comes very early, but in the cross country, you need a horse. They trust you. You need a horse that fights in the cross country, and I'm very happy about my horse.
And Phillip, when we spoke with you on, I guess, Thursday morning when you first came out of the ring after your ride on Fernhill Fugitive, you know, we asked you how you felt, and you said you thought it was good, and we said, you feeling great for the weekend? You said, well, that was good dressage, but we got a long way to go. And now having come across cross country the way it went, how are you feeling about the horse?
Well, I thought all 3 went well. Like Michael said, it was not easy. The conditions, especially as the day went on. You know, every time they galloped, they were working, pulling out of the ground, but it was always safe. And you know, I think Derek did a great job with the course because the problems were spread throughout. But yeah, I was pleased the way my guys went, and I think it was a great learning experience for them, and hopefully they'll be better for it.
And Maya, when you woke up this morning, did you think you would be sitting up here at this table among the leaders of Rolex Kentucky at the end of the day?
Not particularly, but I'm very happy to be here.
You said to me before we began, you didn't even know this room existed.
It's a great room to be in.
And you'll be invited back. So Lauren, before we speak with you, we have a little wardrobe change we'd like to ask everybody. Take one and pass them down. In honor of Lauren's ride today, which was obviously the Land Rover best ride of the day, and as some of you, which is based on the closest to the optimum time with no jumping penalties, and there was actually a tie, but the tiebreaker is then the best dressage score. So Lauren is the winner, and as I mentioned, the winner of a 2-year lease on a new Land Rover Discovery Sport. And at this time, I would like to introduce the Events and Partnerships Manager for Land Rover, Helen McDonald.
Thank you very much. Lauren, what a great ride. Congratulations. I'd like to present to you the key to a 2-year lease on a Discovery Sport, a Land Rover Discovery Sport.
We will take Lauren down to the Land Rover test drive area where she will actually get the car and be able to drive off into the sunset, so to speak. And we invite all the photographers to come with us. We will have a fleet of golf carts available. We'll drive you down there and drive you back. Thank you so much, Helen. And I know Lauren thanks you. And so that will be happening, Lauren, right after the press conference. We'll do it quickly. We'll do our usual pictures here after the questions. We can drive you down to the Land Rover test drive area. You'll get your shots with the actual vehicle, and then we can bring you all back. So actually, Lauren, when we were talking just before it got started, you said to me this morning, you said, I just want to win that Land Rover.
Yeah, I actually said to my friends here last night, I was like, I would really just like to win the Land Rover, so pretty ecstatic. The horse, it was his first 4-star, and you know, he's a homebred. We've had him his whole life, homebred Jacqueline Mars, and he hasn't always been the easiest, and she believed in him from the beginning, and he really was put perfect today, and I couldn't be happier with it.
And some of you may remember that last year when William won the Land Rover, I mentioned how a few days earlier we had brought a group of riders to Kentucky Children's Hospital to visit some of the patients, and William was one of those riders. Well, this year when we went, Lauren was one of the riders who came to visit those children in Children's Hospital. So I'm a believer in what goes around comes around. You show kindness and you get rewards. And I want to congratulate you on doing what you did the other day as well. Questions now? Yeah.
Michael, how would you compare Fischerrocana's round today to last year's?
I don't know really. Every year, every competition is a bit different. Last year we had a stop in the middle of the course, but yeah, it was also a very good round. But this year, I feel that the mare was really a lot fighting. There was really good galloping, very good galloping in the beginning of the course up the hills. My idea was that I give the mare a bit more time in the beginning, but she galloping very fast, very good up the hill, so the condition was very good in the beginning. And then in the end, she had power enough that I can give her a little more forward. And yeah, that was very good. Thank you.
This question is for Phillip and Lauren. Could you guys describe, since you went in different places in the lineup, could you describe how the course conditions changed throughout the competition, and also how that affected your rides?
It certainly, you know, I think it was the ground was a lot better this morning, you know, as a benefit to go earlier. It certainly deteriorated on Veronica. I did have to hunt for good ground. We had a nice thing about first time you used it, really, it took it quite well. Like it wasn't bottomless or anything, but I certainly think that's why you saw the time get harder and harder to get, and some horses be a bit more tired. Is you had to be quite smart to find good ground and take off spots and landings that everyone else hadn't been, to try to just make it as easy as possible for them.
Yeah, I agree. Everything she said.
And of course, Laura, you won't have to worry about terrain with what you're going to be getting after today.
Look, how much do you feel the weather contributed to the time? Do you think it would be easier to get an extra house?
Certainly it made it harder to get, but the course was always going to be hard to make the time because Derek had added quite a few sharper turns, and so it was a case of, if you ever got down on time, it was going to be pretty hard to catch up. So I think if it was dry, you would have had maybe 3 or 4 inside the time, but I don't think there was going to be too many.
Alan?
Question for Maya. We heard yesterday Phillip and Michael prognosticate that this was one of the more challenging courses at the Rolex event. How did it ride for you? Is it what you expected? Can you tell us how it was for you?
Well, I'm definitely not as experienced as any of these people up here, so, but for me, this is my second time at Rolex. I did last year with the same horse, and that's about as much experience as I have at this level. I just felt like I wasn't really concerned about any of the fences per se. I was more concerned about just getting around safely with my horse and making sure I did the best thing for him. And last year he got a little bit more tired. This year I was really pleased with how he galloped and how he recovered, and he definitely felt better. So I was more wanting to be smart and try to do the best I could towards the end of the course. The last fences, would be the things maybe I was more worried about.
Anyone else?
Michael, it looks like you have 3 rails in hand right now. Will you sleep very well tonight?
I sleep very well because of today, not of tomorrow. The problem is that you have really concentrate, and you have to do your job and your riding, and you prepare as you have no space to the next one.
Given that the horses have to be proficient in all 3 disciplines, how do you identify a potential horse that has talent?
Go for
I think it's a pretty special horse that gets to a 4-star level, and you're always trying to see which ones are going to be suitable along as they make their progression up. But so they've got to be able to, especially in conditions like this, be able to gallop and keep. They don't have to be super fast, but they have to be able to keep one speed up all the time and have plenty of endurance. But at the end of the day, you never quite know until you get them to a 4-star, whether they're a 4-star horse.
Sandy and Cheryl, go back. I will take a moment while Cheryl brings the mic back to let everybody know that today's attendance, despite all the weather forecasts, you saw what was out there, 34,552. Go ahead, Sandy.
Could you just talk a little bit about how your horses felt at the end of the day and how you think that'll translate tomorrow?
They asked each ride, I don't know if you could hear, it's a little hard, but just how your horse felt at the end of the day, if each of you could make one comment.
They're tired.
I think, yes, tired. I think a bit more tired than in the beginning. It is a really 4-star course. It is not so easy in the beginning of the season to do a 4-star course in this strong level. But I think every horse, what I see, was tired, but really happy, and the legs are really good.
I I would say my guy probably is a little more tired, but he's actually quite happy with himself, so he's pretty good.
I think they're all tired, but you know, considering the conditions, I was very happy with how fresh mine finished at the end, and hopefully they still feel well tomorrow.
This time I'd like to introduce someone that I know these 4 riders think very highly of, and I can tell you, Derek, that the terms I have heard used about you today include genius, incredible, perhaps the best designer in the world, our course designer here, the course designer for the upcoming World Equestrian Games and the 2020 Olympic Games, Derek DeGrazia. So Derek, what kind of pressure do you feel, if you do feel any, when you hear the weather forecasts that we were hearing yesterday?
Well, I think you're always a little bit nervous about it. The thing is, I know that last year we ran in the rain and the footing held up pretty well last year, so I knew the ground here is quite good, and we hadn't had that much rain throughout the week, and so I knew that it probably, especially starting out, that we would probably be okay, and it's really a matter of what was going to happen during the day. And as it turned out, I know it deteriorated a bit during the day, but I will take my hats off to these riders because I think they did a heck of a job, and they really produced some great runners.
Questions? Diana?
I actually have a question for Phillip. You went very early and you went very late, so I'd be curious to hear the difference that you felt in the course.
Yeah, well, obviously he got the best of the footing on the first one, and so that was great for that horse. And then, you know, I think as the day went on and the ground didn't get super deep, but every stride the horses were working a lot harder from it. The takeoff and the landings were all very good. What I felt mainly was the galloping in between, where it was not ideal to be galloping where other horses had been, so you had to try and pick and choose where you would gallop, so that it was a bit easier on your horse. But I mean, overall, I think we have to be pretty pleased with the way it held up, considering it rained, all day.
Everybody's obviously you're hopefully feeling a lot of praise from today, but you, as you analyzed the day, was there one fence that you said, oh, I got that just exactly right, and another one you said, oh, I could have tweaked that one a little bit more?
They're all perfect.
Just self-analyzing, do you do that? Is that?
Well, I think you always look at the course and you try to see, obviously, what works, what doesn't work, and if it could be better. And there are always things that can be better, I think. And so that gives me the drive to obviously make those things better as we go forward. And I always learn every year. I learn from what happens and what goes on. Just watching horses go, and that's where you get the experience. And I think to me, that's very important.
Do you have a favorite now with Oliver today?
A favorite what?
Fence, a favorite obstacle?
I don't know that I do. Actually.
Are they all favorites?
I appreciate what the course builders do. I think they're a great bunch of guys, and they have a lot of talent at what they do, and they really produce a good course on the day, and I'm really grateful for that.
We have a new feature this year, and Phillip and Lauren have been here several times, the tailgating. Did you notice? Did it make a difference? Did it have the effect on galloping through the series of cars?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's a great feature. I mean, how much fun for everyone to come and park and hang out with your friends and kind of a base. But I think anything that gets more crowds and people involved is great. And but I wouldn't say I personally didn't notice if there were vehicles or people. It's more just a blur of whoever's there.
Any last questions?
When you kind of redid the track this year, was it your intention to make the time really tough as it was?
I think obviously the course, it turned out that way, and obviously the way the track went contributed quite a lot to that, but I think also just the fact that the way the going was today, I think if the going was a bit quicker, we would have had horses inside the time, without a doubt. So I think it's sort of a little bit of a toss-up, but I did know that the course, just the way it was going to be harder than probably last year or the year before.
Anyone else? Well, on behalf of Rolex, Land Rover, the USCF, the FBI, and Equestrian Events Incorporated, we congratulate our riders and Derek on a brilliant job today. We thank you very much. Before we let our riders go, we'd like to ask Lauren, you keep that hat, and if you would switch hats to Rolex, we will now give the photographers a chance for their photographs against the backdrop. Thank you all, and again, we will have